Evangeline right here at Etrailer. Since every bike rack fits every car differently, we're going to focus in on how the Hollywood Rack's Destination 4 fits on the 2025 Mazda CX-30. The Destination 4 is super popular because it's one of the lighter platform for bike carriers out there, especially since it has a lot of versatility with the types of bikes it can carry. This is one of the few platform racks that I've seen carry a really small children's bike. So if you and your whole family or all your friends all want to go for a bike ride, this can be a bike rack that can take you there. To compensate for its entry-level price as well as its super lightweight design, you do lose out on some features you get with other racks, mainly the ability to tilt the whole bike rack away with the bikes on. So if you need access into your cargo area, you may just have to reach around the back seats or take off the bikes. The way the bikes are secured is you have 3 touch points. So 1 and 2 are going to be your wheel straps. Very straightforward. Strap goes around the wheel, tightens down, or you press this lever and you can then remove the strap. So there's strap number 1 and then strap number 2. The 3rd touch point though, that's going to be the frame mount. And I actually really like this design. Compared to other entry-level racks where there are hooks that hook down, this is actually a 360-degree rotational clamp. So that way if you need to clamp it up here, clamp it down there, clamp it over there, wherever on the bike that makes the most sense for you, you can. In this case, it's right below our water bottle cage. So what I do is I press the lever as I hold onto the bike. Here, I'll put an elbow around the bike. That's the best way to do it. And then I can release that frame mount while supporting the bike, pivot this around. And from here, we can take the bike off. So here's my trick to it. Just slide the bike on over till that mast is right where the opening of between the wheel and the frame. And that way you don't have to lift as far to get the bike up and over. And now we can open up our hatch door. Even with this mast up, there's still clearance between the hatch. And if we kept all of our stuff in here, we can now get it. If you like to switch out your shoes before or after your ride, you can do so. So definitely a little bit more work compared to some of your more premium bike racks, but still for the ability to carry around 4 bikes without taking up as much space, awesome. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring this mast down as if we were to move it into the compact position. Mainly because I want to show you the little trick to it. There's a stand holding this mast up. So you have to loosen this knob here so that you can lift this stand out of the way. Just slide that on over. And from here you can then rotate this mast in whichever direction makes the most sense. And then I always try to use one of the straps to secure the mast in the down position. And that way, as you drive around, this won't be bouncing around. With the ability to carry around 4 bikes, will this take up a lot of space? Well, we'll find out. So, measuring from the bumper of our Mazda to the end of the bike rack, I have it at 39 inches, so a little over 3 feet, which sounds like a lot, but compared to some other racks, not that much. And also, you already have a smaller vehicle, so you still are at a good point for fitting into garages and small parking spots. Just double check those measurements. Next measurement is going to be ground clearance. So with this bike rack and this vehicle, it sits kind of low to the ground. In fact, our hitch receiver, that bottom part, is about 10 inches and a half off the ground. So the end of the bike rack is 18 and a half inches. The center of the bike rack is 23, almost 24 inches off the ground. And what that means is this has a slight rise to it so that when you go over potholes or speed bumps or up steep driveways, you're much less likely to bottom out and scrape against the ground. This keeps your bikes a bit more elevated, which is a really good fit with our CX-30 here. And you can see here by the hitch our shank, which gives you that rise. Now we're over here by that shank because I want to remove this bolt and just unthread it and then let that hang. That way I can lift this bike rack up against the vehicle, and then don't go too far. We're just going to line it back up where that bolt can go on through. Now this process does not need any tools, which is great. And this is going to be your compact position. So when you're driving around town, you're not planning on going for a bike ride just yet, but you also don't want to take your bike rack off, this is how you will have it. So compared to the over 3 feet measurement we had earlier, measuring from the bumper to the end of the bike rack now sits at around 12 inches or 1 foot. So big difference compared to with it in the down position. In fact, this is what I would recommend people drive around in, simply because I think it's safer. Not everyone is going to see the bike rack sitting out without bikes, but they will see this. You will see it as well a little bit, because this height sits right where your windshield wipers is, so you still get pretty full visibility through your rear mirror. And then you also have your taillights, those are visible too. It does kind of cover up your license plate, and your backup camera sits in this big opening here. So what's going to happen is when you go into reverse and use your backup camera, you'll actually still be able to see if there's any people or cars behind you because of that visibility window. It will just be kind of covered because of the bike rack. So I always recommend, when you have bike racks on, please use your mirrors, your side as well as your rear view mirror, just to double check for visibility purposes. That's really all there is to it. The Destination 4 is one of my favorite family-friendly bike racks because it's so straightforward, it can carry a lot of bikes, and it honestly doesn't take up as much room behind your vehicle like you would expect other racks. In fact, this is one of the few 4-bike carriers that I can carry all by myself. Now, I do recommend some additional things though, as you realize, if you realize that you have to take this in and out of your hitch pretty often. And that's going to be the Etrailer alignment collar. So this is something that you can attach to the shank of your bike rack, and that way, rather than having to look back and forth, since that hitch is kind of hidden, this will stay in place and really help out with that process. So just something that's additional, doesn't come with the bike rack, but something that I always recommend to people looking into using this pretty often. Now, other than that, this bike rack does come with a hitch lock, as well as a cable lock, so that all of your bikes are secure and your bike rack is safe on your vehicle. So if you have any questions at any point, please feel free to reach out. I think this is a great fit. What we just saw was a look at the Hollywood Rack's Destination 4 on the 2025 Mazda CX-30.